Just as in the heyday of the gladiator arena, many of you lust for blood and have requested that I do a list of the worst movies of 2018. But before we get to my list, I want to remind you to vote for your worst movies of 2018, just as they also did in the gladiator arena. Yay or nay? Oh yeah, and you can also vote for your best movies too, and Beyond the Trailer's annual poll, the link to which is down below in the video description. The poll closes on January 4th, so be sure to vote today or as soon as possible. And then look for the results right here on Beyond the Trailer. Now, it would be easy for me to list the real clunkers of 2018 that we knew would be bad before they even hit the silver screen. So I've decided to list the movies that were shockingly bad, where the stars, filmmakers, and studio suits should have known better. I think you're going to be entertained. Number 5, Hereditary. You knew it would be on this list, and I bet you even thought it would be higher. It is, in fact, my personal, to me, as an individual, the worst movie of the year. My new fandom thread. But I put it at number 5 on my official list because I respect the few people that did like it. But that D+ cinema score proves that most moviegoers thought it was as torturous as I did. I feel that Hereditary is the perfect example of an Emperor Has No Clothes movie. It has all the markings and promise of a prestige horror film, which are all the rage these days, and so Hereditary tried to jump on that bandwagon, and to some degree did. But it not only never delivers, but is infuriatingly unsatisfying in its pompous, nonsensical, unjust ending. Yeah, I really hated it. But Toni Collette was good, though, and the miniatures were also cool, even though they never factored in narratively, which a non-hack filmmaker would have known to do. All right, number 4, First Man. Now, this isn't personal. I love one Damien Chazelle, even though I hate another. But this movie, First Man, is a perfect example of a filmmaker buying into his own hype. After La La Land, Chazelle believed he'd made it. Never believed that. Always be a little bit nervous. So, because he felt he was safe, Chazelle, and everybody just was hanging on his every cinematic word, Chazelle made the space exploration movie that he personally was interested in. And as a result, it seems like only his family went to go and see it at theaters. But also, not only on top of what kind of space movie he wanted himself, but he also he decided to put a non-patriotic spin on it. Now, First Man isn't anti-patriotic, to be clear. It's neutral, not to mention completely devoid of emotion. But Chazelle and star Ryan Gosling defended that creative decision by pointing out that Neil Armstrong was both those things. However, that's why everybody talks about Buzz Aldrin, which First Man made fun of. But who's laughing now? Not anybody associated with the First Man team. And then number 3 is Teen Titans Go to the Movies. They say it's darkest before the dawn, and that is certainly the case with DC movies. Now, just like with Hereditary, I respect that some people did enjoy this movie, particularly fans of the zany incarnation of the animated series on which this is based. But the reason that this not only is on my list of worst movies of 2018, but is higher up than Hereditary, is because it ridicules the home team. Not cool! Especially when your own movie is nails on a chalkboard to many, made far less money at the box office, and didn't inspire anywhere near the same fan loyalty. I don't hear people calling for a certain cut of Teen Titans Go to the Movies, do you? Never make fun of the home team. So disloyal. All right, speaking of disloyal, number 2, Solo, A Star Wars Story. To be clear, though, I want to point out that I really did end up enjoying Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo. He is not the problem with this film. And I loved his chemistry with Chewie, as good as Harrison Ford's. But as I've said before, I will never forget my second screening of this film. I saw it again with friends after I went to see it at the press screening. And as I sat in an audience of people who were not having a particularly good time, you could hear a piece of popcorn drop. Some kid in front of me was watching an iPad of something else, which was so annoying to me. Thank goodness he was really short, so you couldn't really see it over the seat, except when his mom was handing it back and forth to him. And I realized that it was a woman executive who ruined the biggest film franchise of all time. We'll see if it ends up being too big to fail, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Who would have ever thought we would say, thank goodness for Amy Pascal? And while Solo itself is a mess, what's even more infamous about the film is how good it could have been. Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who Kathleen Kennedy now notoriously fired in favor of longtime friends, the Kasdans. Like, what? Well, Lord and Miller proved that they do know what they're doing with the game-changing Spider-Verse in the same year. So far, the box office for Spider-Verse isn't amazing, but at least it's a huge awards contender, and it is impressing the people who do see it. So it's a mild victory for Lord and Miller, but it's still a victory. Then also, when it comes back to Solo, how do you mess up Lando Calrissian, especially with the perfect casting of Donald Glover? And who threw him under the bus with that offhanded remark about his sexuality that wasn't actually anywhere in the movie? Why, it was the Kasdans in an interview. Who did Kathleen Kennedy choose to back again? Not faithful to the character and queer baiting. It's ridiculous. And don't even get me started on that stupid droid. Annoying and inept. I haven't seen that unsympathetic and on-screen death since Paul Bettany in Master and Commander, who actually played a very similar character. And then what is my worst movie of 2018? Well, that would have to be Red Sparrow. 3 clunkers in a row, Jennifer Lawrence. And to think, for a brief shining moment, she was the biggest female star in the world who was demanding and getting a bigger paycheck than her considerable male co-star. Was it an unknown that got paid less? It was Chris frickin' Pratt. Thank goodness she still has that Oscar, which guarantees she will work forever. But she might want to have someone else start picking her projects. Sadly, Lawrence trusted her Hunger Games director and agreed to star in his Mary Sue spy thriller with so much blatant, desperate nudity that it seemed more like a role for a former Disney Channel star with something to prove. That's right, softcore porn spy fan fiction with the same bad wig game that began Angelina Jolie's downward spiral. And Angelina Jolie also has an Oscar, and true to what I just said, does continue to work. But think about where Angelina Jolie is now. She really has fallen shockingly far considering where she was for such a long time. So maybe Jennifer Lawrence's Oscar isn't that good a safety net after all, and she really has to watch out. She recently fired her agent, and I think that was a good call, although she didn't hire a new agent, so she might just continue to follow Angelina Jolie down that dark, egotistical path anyway. So that's my list of the worst movies of 2018. I'm sure you have something to say about it, so I look forward to hearing your thoughts down below. And don't forget to vote in that annual Beyond the Trailer poll for best and worst movies, and the deadline again is January 4th. And of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.